Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory be to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rucha Kodash. And I want to say double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. And blessings to the hopeful elect out there listening and learning and teaching this word in all sincerity and truth in the hopes that we may edify and feed the lambs of Yahweh Shai, especially in these last days. And, pretty much I just wanted to, speak on current events. And as you can see, I've got the YouTube channel on Sky News. All right, and I've muted it because I don't want to get hit with any copyright or I don't want to get a strike on my YouTube channel. But the breaking news is that Russia has been attacked by Ukraine using long range missiles. Pretty much provided by the US. It says Russia's defense ministry, Ukraine hits Russia with US long-range missiles. This is put up an hour ago, and this is breaking news. All right, and now, pretty much the Kremlin is spoken, and they're pretty much revising their, nuclear strategy in terms of, I believe the update is, any nation that teams up against Russia, all right, that even if they're not nuclear based or don't have nuclear capability, or nuclear missiles, if they're backed by a nuclear or a country that has nuclear missiles, then pretty much, Russia is going to retaliate in kind. All right. So, this is basically big news. This is big news indeed, because what you got to understand is that Russia, when you go into Revelation, the 13th chapter, is known as the bear. All right, and the scriptures describe the feet of the beast, the feet of that of a bear. All right, and when you look up, when you're dealing with the feet, all right, you're dealing with the, when you focus on the feet, represents the end of a thing. All right, so pretty much, this man's kingdom. When I say this man, I'm talking about the wicked that the Bible speaks of. Their kingdom is at an end. Okay, because Russia, aka the bear, aka the Medes, all right, spoken of in Isaiah the 13th chapter, they will shoot their missiles and they will retaliate and they will shoot their missiles in America. And that's why you see things, definitely about to heat up, in these last days, especially over there in the so-called Middle East. Because right now what you have is proxy wars, Ukraine using, US long-range missiles, pretty much that's, an army over there in Ukraine backed by the US attacking Russia directly. Right? And now they're saying that, they did this in retaliation to Russia sending in North Korean troops, boots on the ground, which that's the speculation in the air at the moment. All right, but one thing we do know, according to biblical prophecy, is that the Lord spoke about these things that we're witnessing in these last days. And I'm going to get the prophecy for it in Matthew chapter 24, verse 3. It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Right? So the disciples wanted to know, the signs of the Lord's return, right? And Yahweh Shai, verse 4, answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So we're in a time of wars and rumors of wars. All right, that's exactly the time that we're in right now. Where things are definitely heating up, and this is breaking news. And so here it is, we're in the year, 20, excuse me, give me a second. Yes, Salakia. Yes, we're in the year 2024. the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. And all hell can break loose. But remember, before World War III, kicks off, what's gonna happen is that chip's gonna be pushed and made mandatory. All right, and you're gonna have people begging, to be stuck with the RFID chip. All right, in order for them to be able to buy and sell. Now, what I want to do is I want to go into an article. Give me a see. Putin nuclear strategy. Let's see if this comes up in the news. Okay, here we go. All right, so this was put up 5 hours ago. All right, this is ABC News, and this is what I wanted to find, because I was mentioning this earlier in the video, but I wanted to get the article to prove it. It says Putin lowers the threshold for using his nuclear arsenal after Biden's arms decision for Ukraine. All right, which is what we're witnessing right here. This is that breaking news. This is the arms decision that was made. They're saying it was made through President Biden, to allow Ukrainians to use, U.S. long-range missiles. All right, I think they're called the ATACMS. All right, and I think the UK is now following suit. They got this, the Storm, Shadow Storm missiles, or so on and so forth. The things are basically, heating up. It says Vladimir Putin formally lowered the threshold for Russia's use of nuclear weapons following US President Joe Biden's decision to let Ukraine strike targets inside Russian territory with American supplied longer range missiles. As you can see, this was put up November the 19th, 2024. All right, we're in that time. All right, so the fire is definitely rising. Okay, the heat is rising. Things are getting to the boiling point. And ultimately, it's going to come to a point where America is about to be hit with nuclear destruction. All right, and this is what we've been saying. All right, and everything is leading to the path of the second death. All right, the war that's going to come with burning and fuel of fire, spoken of in Isaiah 9:5. All right, in fact, let me get that scripture real quick, because that wars and rumors of war is going to go from a rumor of war to an actual war. The scriptures speak about how the third woe cometh quickly. Yeah, that's the third world war. It says, verse 7 in Matthew 24, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And that's exactly what we're going through in these last days. All right, so things ain't gonna get easier; they're gonna get tougher. All right, people are gonna get colder. Certain decisions are gonna be made. All right, and these decisions are going to impact people's lives greatly. All right, this is Isaiah chapter 9 verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. Right, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So yeah, ancient warfare was fought on horseback, shields, pike, spear, whatever. Buckler, helmet, greaves. Men running on a battlefield and chopping off limbs. But this one's going to be with burning and fuel of fire, which is talking about that thermonuclear destruction. All right, and this is, if you can't see that this is leading up to World War III, then you're in that peace and safety spirit, and you're going to get caught out there completely, unaware. Okay. This is verse 19. Well, let me start from 18. For wickedness burneth as the fire, it shall devour the briars and thorns, and shall kindle in the thickets of the forest, and they shall mount up like the lifting up of smoke. Through the wrath of the Lord of hosts, the Lord of the armies, is the land darkened. The people shall be as the fuel of fire, of the fire. No man shall spare his brother. You see that? So this is this fuel of fire being outlined in Isaiah the 9th chapter here is dealing with that nuclear destruction. All right. So when you see breaking news articles like this, just know that the fire is rising. The Lord said, I am come to set fire upon the earth. And what will I if it be already kindled? Did he not say that? All right. Now, you got Russia with their allies. You got the BRICS nation. You got China, India, South Africa, Brazil. Then you got other nations that are joining with them: Iran, United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Ethiopia, so on and so forth. You got these allies that are being formed, okay, and they're coming up against the US dollar. All right. Now you got Trump, who just won the president election. He ain't gonna like that. Trump is a very, very proud individual, and he keeps talking about making America great again. Well, how are you gonna do that when you got your enemies or your adversaries, coming up against the US dollar? So this is gonna cause war, man. Whether you people out there, you like it or not. That's why the Apostle Paul said that we have to remain circumspect in these last days. We're not in a time of peace, we're in a time of war. And that's something that people are going to have to realize, and they're going to have to stomach that. Because the scriptures speak about the day that cometh that shall burn as an oven. All right. In fact, I ain't read that one in a minute. Let me go ahead and get, was it Malachi 4:1? It says, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, all that do wickedly shall be stubble. You see that? So what's this day that's coming that's going to burn as an oven? Is that talking about a literal oven? Is it talking about an oven, that you turn up to 250 degrees? No, it's talking about the nuclear destruction, right? The day that's going to come is going to burn. And what's going to cause that burning? The nuclear missiles, in addition to Yahweh Shai and the angels, pretty much shooting laser beams on this place. All right? On America, mainly, And all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts. And that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. All right? And when you take something up by the root, let's say you have a plant and you take it up by the root and you dash it in the bin. That shit ain't growing back, man. Because once you take something up by the roots, it's gone. You take something up by the root, all that's left is the soil. All right? Nothing can grow. That same plant that you plucked up, it can't grow back. Because you plucked it up by the root, and that's what's going to happen to America. So let's go back to this article here. All right. It says, President Vladimir Putin said on Tuesday, formally lowered the threshold for Russia's use of nuclear weapons. A move that follows U.S. President Joe Biden's decision to let Ukraine strike targets inside the Russian territory with American-supplied longer-range missiles. The new doctrine allows for a potential nuclear response by Moscow, even to a conventional attack on Russia by a nation that is supported by a nuclear power. So if a nation attacks Russia, right, but they're backed by a nation that is supported by nuclear power, right, this new doctrine allows for a potential nuclear response, right, by Russia. Russia's defense ministry said Ukraine fired 6 US-made ATACMS missiles early Tuesday at a military facility in Russia's Bryansk region that borders Ukraine, adding that that air defenses shot down 5 of them and damaged 1 more. While the doctrine envisions a possible nuclear response by Russia to such a conventional strike, it is formulated broadly to avoid a firm commitment to use nuclear weapons and keep Putin's options open. And why do you think, Putin's options? Well, ultimately, Putin's options, what Russia's going to do, Russia's going to be, controlled by Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, the scriptures tell you in Ezekiel 38 that the Lord is putting hooks in Russia's jaws. All right, Russia is known as Gog, right, in Ezekiel 38. And right now, they're currently being a guard unto the weaker nations. Okay. And with this tension rising over there in the so-called Middle East, tension rising with the war in Ukraine, so on and so forth, we can see that Russia's flexing their nuclear arsenal more and more. All right, and pretty much talking that nuclear talk more and more as well, which is exactly where, we want to be in accordance to biblical prophecy. Because the Apostle Peter, he said in 2 Peter 3:10, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, right? So that thief in the night is going to come for people that ain't watching, right, for the times that's coming. That don't believe in the prophecies. Yeah? In the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. So that fervent heat is that nuclear destruction that we spoke about. All right, that we've been speaking about. Okay, it says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? Right, meaning your conduct has to be, filtered through this word in these last days. Doing what we have to do to be able to be right, to be saved by Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. When Yahweh Shai comes back, we want to be saved. It says, looking for and hasten unto the coming of the day of Yahweh, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. All right, and ultimately we want this to happen, because the quicker this happens, the quicker that Yahweh Shai's kingdom is gonna be established on the earth, and we become joint heirs with him. All right, the quicker Yahweh Shai is gonna come and change us out of these vile bodies. All right, new covenant style, and we're gonna be perfect in the sight of the Lord, and we're never gonna go off ever again. Okay, that's the new covenant. And we're going to be immortal. So this has to happen, man. This actually has to happen. Now, I saw after the street speak in the apostles camp, they lined up, with the elders, the brothers, teaching. And then we're going through Revelation, the 13th chapter. And the elder apostle Tahar done spoke about the semi-quintessential in 2026 that Donald Trump wants to hold like a year-long of celebrations and festivals, pretty much celebrating the 250-year anniversary of when America declared their independence. All right? And in Latin, that's pretty much 250 years, semi-quintessential. All right? And the average span of an empire is 250 years. So this timing is very, very precise. Is beautiful. All right? That we can see that we're here to see the downfall of this man's kingdom, because his kingdom is divided. And you got these Edomites going head to head. That's a divided kingdom right there. Okay. They'll be able to stand. Let me see if I can get this scripture here as well. Not stand. Let me see. Yeah, it's because of the one in Matthew. This is Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. And Yahweh Shai knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. See, America is divided against itself. Right? You got Edomites against Edomites. America against Russia. They're divided. Okay? But even more so, America is divided against itself. America, that great Rome 2.0, is divided. The Republicans, the Democrats. Trump just won this landslide election victory, so-called. Okay, he hasn't even been inaugurated yet. That's going to happen in January 20th. All right, who knows what's going to happen between now and that time. So things are definitely happening. Things are definitely heating up. Now, they're saying that in response to all of this happening over there in Ukraine and Russia, with this war, they're saying that there could be a cyber attack. So we have to keep our wits about us, man. Okay? Because ultimately, if a cyber attack happens, just like they showed you in the movie, Leave the World Behind, once a cyber attack happens and the lights go off, that's when, all hell can break loose. And that is a sure way to destabilize any nation, with a cyber attack and cutting off all the lights and just letting pure mayhem run through the streets in these cities. Causing a breakdown in communication, wiping out, data breaches and so on and so forth, changing things around. Anything can happen. All right. And that's why we have to be circumspect. Okay. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. Right? So the day of the Lord is coming as a thief in the night to those that ain't looking for the day of the Lord. But as for the elect, They're waiting. They're waiting for the Lord's return. Okay, it says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Right? So, that peace and safety spirit, make America great again, thinking that you're going to build back better and all of this shit, it ain't happening, man. All right, the scripture says we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. And furthermore, the Lord putting hooks into Russia's jaws to shoot missiles on America, to be a guard unto the weaker nations, for even America's allies to shoot missiles on America. Again, this man's kingdom is divided. That kingdom shall not stand. Okay. Now, there was something else I wanted to speak on as well. Give me a second. And there's an article I got here. It says sentiment in Germany declines after the US election. All right, economic developments. The ZEW indicator economic sentiment for Germany, that is, expectations regarding the economic development declined in November 2024 survey to 7.4 points. Assessments of the current economic situation in Germany are also increasingly pessimistic. The corresponding indicator fell 4.5 points and is now at minus 91.4 points, which is the lowest since the pandemic. Right? So even that, the sentiment in Germany declining after the US election. And when you're dealing with the beast, which Germany, that's a part of the EU. Okay? But when you're dealing with the beast, the economic part of the beast, right, is the EU. Right? The beast itself consists of NATO, right, and their allies, the EU, which is the economic part of the beast. And America is the whore that rideth upon the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, sooner or later, these allies of America, right, the beast is going to butt that whole off the back of it, and they're going to turn on America and burn America with fire. All right, and that's in Revelation, the 17th chapter. So not only is there division from an economical standpoint, there's division from a standpoint of the military might as well. All right, because you got allies of America that also have nuclear weapons too. All right, that are going to shoot their missiles on America. This is Revelation chapter 17, right? Verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And this is what the Lord is causing, this division in this man's kingdom. He's going to cause America, right, that whole that rideth upon the beast, to be burnt with fire. For Yahweh have put in their hearts to fulfill his will, right? You see that? So this is all about the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, to carry out the will of the Lord. Everything is falling in alignment with the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. All right, the second death, right, which is going to be by way of fire. All right, we're at the time now when you go to Daniel, the 2nd chapter, with the statue. All right, we're in the time of the feet, with part iron and part clay with the 10 toes. Which goes back to what NATO and the EU, partly strong and partly broken. Where you got some economically stronger nations of the EU and some weaker, which you even got that acronym, the Pigs of Europe, which stands for Portugal, Italy, Greece, and Spain. Portugal, Italy, Ireland, Greece, and Spain, I believe. The Pigs of Europe. All right, it wasn't even too long ago that Greece, they were lining up. They had a run on the banks, and people had to, lining up, taking out a certain amount of euros. They can only take out a certain amount of euros per person. So, things are definitely heating up, man. The main thing you got to understand is that this man's kingdom is divided. And when you're dealing with America, the whore that rideth upon the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, it's going to end with this whore being burnt with fire. And that's going to come by way of nuclear destruction. All right. Isaiah, let's get Isaiah 13, because I was holding that one earlier. It says Babylon will fall to the Medes. Now the Medes here represents the Russians. Okay, and it says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity upon the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. All right, the bows represent the bows and the arrows. The bows, a lot of the time in the scriptures, when you hear about the bows and the arrows, the bows represent the silos, and the arrows are the nuclear missiles, right? Which is going to be shot on Babylon the Great. It says, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, his excellency, shall be as when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And there was 3 other cities as well. There was Zoar, Zoarbim, and Admah. Right? And they all got destroyed by way of fire. So the destruction of Babylon the Great is likened unto when the Lord overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. And that lines up with Revelation 18. Okay? And the doleful creatures shall dwell there. Satires shall, well, it's going to go into that as well. It says, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. There ain't going to be no trade in the land of America. It's done. That's why these other nations, they're going to be crying when they see the smoke of her burning. Alas, alas. In 1 hour. It's only going to take the Lord 1 hour to destroy America. Revelation 18 goes into that yet again. It says, but the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and the dragons in their pleasant places. And her time is near to come. Her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. That her lines up with what we just read, right? That she shall get burnt with fire. These 10 horns shall hate the horn, shall burn her flesh with fire, right? Her days are not going to be prolonged. Her time is near to come. So it ain't just Russia going to shoot missiles on America. Even the allies of America are going to shoot missiles on her. Because this man's kingdom is divided, man. Let's get Revelation 18. Revelation 18 and and 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Right? For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Now that fornication goes into what? Basically spiritual adultery. That fornication comes in the form of, all the shit that America pushes, all the filth, the filthy ways of life, the feminism, all these false religions, sodomy, the alphabet people. That's part of that fornication, right? Worshipping of false gods. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich. And that's why the scripture says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. Because if you want to do business with America, pretty much you got to get in bed with this hoe. And she got all kind of STDs. So you got to be careful, right? When you're dealing with, the whore, the great whore known as America, you lay down in bed with America, pretty much you're doomed to fail. And it's all because of the love of money. And that's why these nations, they embrace something called Americanization. That's why they want to have, everything that's in America, they want it in their land. To the point where it's intoxicating or puts them in a state of inebriation. And that's that wine, right? That's that wine that that's speaking about in verse 3. For all the nations have drunk of the wine, right? Now when you go into that wine, there's a precept in Jeremiah, I believe it's 51 and is it 7? Yeah. It says, Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, right? In the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai's hand, that have made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Okay? Now they ain't talking about literal wine, even though it's symbolic. Even though, when you drink, loads of amounts of wine. You can get drunk off of that. You staggering all over the place, and the nations, they're pretty much inebriated with the wine of America. And they're drunk. And when you wake up from that drunken stupor, you wake up and you realize that you got a badass hangover, and now you're looking at the state of your country, you're looking at the state of your people, and you get mad about it. So that's what it's saying when the nations are mad. They're pretty much, they woken up from that, inebriated state. That's why the scripture says all that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee. There's going to come a time where these nations, they're going to look at you and be like, what, is this the man that did, because, the scriptures speak about how this devil has taken peace from the earth, the red horse in Revelation 6 and 4, right? With the great sword. And Esau's blessing is a sword. You don't told a lie with this devil, then they pretty much set up economic hitmen to come up in your territory, all because they want your resources or whatever their intentions are, to push their filth, to push their wine, to push that fornication. If you don't play ball, pretty much you're an enemy of America, and they will come down heavy on you. Put sanctions on you and so on and so forth. So America, pretty much is known as the hammer of the whole earth. But soon their dominance is coming into an end. It's circling the drain. Okay, in fact, let me get another one about the wine. Okay. Because it said the nations are drunken of the wine and the nations are mad, right? Proverbs 20 and 1. It says, wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. So this is talking about being deceived by the wine, of that America is pushing out, that Esau pushes out. And all the nations have drunken of that, and they've been deceived by that wine. Okay, there's another one in Isaiah 28. All right, verse 7. But they also have erred through wine, and through strong drink are out of the way. The priest and the prophet have erred through strong drink. They are swallowed up of wine. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision. They stumble in judgment. All right, and even our people are mixed up in that. That's why you got our people, they're in that do as thou wilt spirit, because they've partaken of the wine of fornication. They're committing spiritual adultery, right? Worshipping other gods into this philosophy, into that philosophy, pushing feminism, being a sodomite. That's that wine. All right, that's why they're stumbling all over the place through that strong drink, and they're erring vision. They stumble in judgment. They're so intoxicated they can't see the end of America. They want America. In fact, they want America to continue. They want this giant orgy party to last forever. But guess what? Yahweh Shai, he's like the ultimate gate crasher. And he's going to gate crash this party, man. America is one big Diddy party. That's basically what it is. It's one big Epstein Island, if you will. That's what's going on over there in America. Okay? And it's about to come to an end. Now, what are we saying that's so wrong? If you're against what we're saying and you're a demon and you want this giant Epstein party to continue, that's basically what you're declaring. And you can't serve two masters, man. Everyone has to declare what side they're on in these last days. Okay? Back in Revelation 18 and 3, it says, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Yeah, they make money for America. All right, because America is a great consumer nation, right? And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. And the main plague is talking about that nuclear destruction. All right, and I'm going to get a precept in Zechariah 14 and 12. It says, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. A people before us a place, right? Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Right? So that's judgment. That's the day of the Lord. Okay? And it's going to come by way of thermonuclear destruction. In addition to Yahweh Shai, bringing the laser beam technology. Um, let me get this precept real quick. It is near. Excuse me, bear with me. It is near and hasteneth greatly. So I'm just typing this in on my can't seem to find the scripture. Usually if I I believe it is in Zephaniah or Zechariah, I'm not too sure. Let me see if it's in. I'm gonna have to just see if I can just try and find it here. Zephaniah. It's really bugging me that I can't find this precept because I want to find it. Zephaniah 1. I had it highlighted on my phone, so. Oh, here it is. There you go. It's highlighted on my tablet too. Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 14, excuse me. It says the great day of the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, is near. It is near and hasteth greatly. I don't know why. Usually if you type that into Google and you put KJV, it usually comes up straight away, but that was Satan. Right? But I found it in the end anyway, so that's okay. It says, even the voice of the day of the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress. And let's talk about Jacob's trouble. Because you got Trump, pretty much. I did a video on this yesterday talking about how he's going to, pretty much use the military, to export all these so-called illegal immigrants. And it's going to be so chaotic to the point you can imagine, getting rid of them millions and millions that have flooded the border, that got into the land of America, using the military to do that. Could you imagine the pushback? And could you imagine the chaos? And could you imagine the slaughter? Remember, the scripture says that they shall be like madmen, sparing none. Right? So that day is a day of wrath, man, a day of trouble. Jacob's trouble is near. 2nd Ezra 15, 2nd Ezra 16. In fact, in 2nd Ezra 16, the scriptures say that they shall be like madmen, sparing none. For they shall cast you out of your houses, so on and so. People are going to be getting dragged out of their homes. Like in the movie Handmaid's Tale. Just like they show you that. People are getting dragged up and thrown into vans and put in concentration camps. It says a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation. And that's when the nuclear missiles hit and Yahweh Shai comes with the holy angels to lay America waste. It says a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. A day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. Right? And I will bring distress upon men. Right? And they shall walk like blind men because they have sinned against the Lord. And their blood shall be poured out as dust and their flesh shall be as the dung. That's how much death is going to be out here. When them nukes, do some damage. That's how many people is going to be dying. Right? Their flesh shall be as the dung. All right, and there's certain prophets that when they saw the destruction, the day of the Lord, like Ezra said, woe is me, who shall deliver me in those days? Habakkuk is another one. He said, look, I heard thy speech and I was afraid. And Habakkuk, he saw the chariot shooting out laser beams. So did Ezra. They both saw it. And they got afraid. Okay. So that day is gonna be a day of gloominess, man, a day of ruin, desolation, just like it says in the NLT in verse 15, it will be a day when the Lord's anger is poured out, a day of terrible distress and anguish, a day of ruin and desolation, a day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and blackness. You see that? So that's why the scripture says in Amos 5:18, woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it. All right. So pretty much, I'm gonna close out there, and I pray you were edified with this lesson. This just look like I said. I just used this article just to the Spirit kind of took it into a bit of prophecy, which that's good. The scripture says, "Speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord." All right, and this is one more step closer to World War III. All right, which before that happens, remember that the chip has to be pushed. That's how you know that the chip's even closer to World War III, because the chip's got to get pushed first. All right, all this, Ukraine using US long-range missiles, ATACMS and all of that. That's all building up to World War III, man. Things are heating up, definitely. So with that, man, I pray you are edified with this lesson. Shalom to the elect.